Let's start with something that might be quite obvious, but I think some people are a bit confused about. Roughly 10 days ago, Jarosław Gowin, another deputy prime minister, made a comment on a blog in Kraków saying that he didn't think that the outsourcing industry was good for Poland. You're obviously here because you think it is. What does the government really think, or is there a division?
Well, it's very... First, let me say it's a great pleasure and honor to be here with you. I know quite a bit about the ABSL and this business. I was on the side of business for 25 years before. So before I entered public administration a year ago or half a year ago. Or some time ago, but I think it's ages since I joined. Anyway, first, it's very dangerous to interpret your colleague from the government, but Mr. Gowin is a person who absolutely is pro-business. So this is the first and very important statement. He understands how business is important for the development of economy in every geography, but. What really he interpreted is one element of our responsible development plan, where we not only want to have more outsourcing business, but we want to have more outsourcing business everywhere. We want to have more shared services centers in places in Poland where you probably have not heard about, but they have a big population of people from universities, very well educated people, speaking different languages, and this is what we are going to promote. This is what Mr. Gowin is going to promote. He is deputy prime minister responsible for high education, and our plans are actually very compatible. So he must have been misunderstood, or this is part of a context which is not exactly the business related context, but I'm absolutely sure he supports not only this type of business, every business in full.
Good to know. We do have some results. I just can't see it. 50% of you think, 55% of you think it will grow between 5 and 10% next year. 39, 10 to 20%, and a smidgen think it will shrink, which is less bullish than I thought. Mateusz, you've made comments, other people have made comments. Chairman Kaczynski has made comments regarding the ownership of banks in Poland, whether or not foreign banks, the industry should be rebalanced, and some of the banks that are currently owned by foreign investors should be owned by Polish investors, perhaps by means through the state. How can you justify that comment when you're also looking for foreign banks to invest here in their service centers? I mean, you're essentially saying to, say, an Italian bank, we don't want you to own a retail bank here, but we want you to employ lots of people in Wrocław doing our back office. How does that work?
Henry likes exaggeration. You know, we never said we don't want to have retail bank from Italy. We want more retail banks from Italy if they want to build businesses here. It's some rumors in the ether that maybe some Italian bank wants to withdraw, but that's rumors only. So if you were to establish a banking sector from scratch, you would probably have a different balance, not 70-30, but maybe 30-70. Or right now we have 70% of the banking sector in the hands of foreign banks. This was because for our foreign guests, because we were transforming economy after the communist collapse in 1989. We did not have capital because communism has not been creating enough capital, and we were inviting foreign capital to transform the economy, and this was working for us. In some sectors which are not so much technology-based and are not so much related or based widely on know-how and technology, like for instance some parts of the manufacturing sector, or some parts of retail sector, or some parts of the banking sector. We probably, the pendulum was swung too much to one direction. But having said that, we only act if there is an opportunity on the market, and we do not do any renationalization and repolonization. Only opportunistic business moves are as everywhere in the world. If there is such an option, a bank is going to withdraw, as it was the case with GE, getting out of country and getting out from many other countries because of the change of strategy. Then we are ready to play, but not at any price, because we don't want to overprice too much, to pay too much for assets. Banking is, I was working in a bank for 20 years, so it's anyway going to be a more and more difficult business. So I think that the international banks which are going to make some footprint in other locations apart from London post-Brexit and so on, I think they should be looking at Poland as a very good place to outsource some of the business, or to headquarter some of the business.
You said it's 70-30 now. That's not great. 30-70 would be better. Is there a target? Is that your target? You'd like to see foreign down to 30?
That's a target, but not for 5 years. It maybe 15 years, 25 years.
Okay.
It's an opportunistic target.
I mean, this industry is almost, 95% foreign. Why is it okay for this industry to be foreign dominated, but not the retail banking industry?
There are different industries. There is defense industry, for instance, where in defense industry you used to keep lots of ownership in the hands of the domestic industry, domestic or sometimes state-owned, as it is in France, as it is in Germany, as it is in many other countries of the European Union. The banking sector is probably in the middle. The outsourcing shared services is completely the other direction. It's this type of sector which should be completely indifferent, transparent from the point of view of the sources of capital and where the capital comes from. It. So the more capital is coming to Poland from for all sorts of different outsourcing businesses, the better. It's a different type of sector.
But do you see how it could be kind of strange for foreigners to hear language such as, we want you to invest in this industry but not in that one? And how would you stop them investing in the banking industry? I mean, would you advocate some kind of...
We are not stopping. There are no restrictions, like a couple of foreign banks located in Poland bought other banks. Like, for instance, one bank which was foreign, which I was honored to chair for some time, bought another bank just 2 years ago, which was also foreign. So there are no restrictions whatsoever.
But this was before your government came into power.
Yeah, but now I'm in this government too. So.
When did you change your mind on that? Was it while you were running BZWBK, or since you left?
I have never changed my mind on this. It's simply the economy is growing. We want to have strong international players, in particular in the areas of high value added. So if you ask me for specific businesses or services or industries or sectors, I'm not differentiating. If there is a bank, high value added investment bank, lots of consultancy business, M&A and so on, I would be doing everything to draw the attention of such a bank and invite them to Poland. It's a much less black and white when you present it. And if you, I can tell you one anecdote. If you want to buy a bank in France, for instance, which is probably a liberal and capitalistic and so on country, it's impossible. We have been trying to do this in my previous life, and this was simply impossible. So Poland is much more open than France in the banking sector, where we have a huge dominance of foreign capital, and France is 95-97% French, and they are not open, and we are open. I wonder if you ask such questions to Emmanuel Macron and some other colleagues in France.
But at the same time, Poland did It's true. But at the same time, as you yourself said, Poland needed these foreign investors to come in after '89 to make this country it is now, this fantastic, booming economy. It's a bit unfair to say, thanks a lot for your help. Actually, now we could do without you.
No, nobody came here just for help. This is not a charity business.
No, of course
They
not.
are coming here, and everybody is coming here, as Poland is now expanding to some other countries, looking for some returns, higher returns. So it's a win-win situation. I'm here as a Minister for Economic Development because I want all international business to be satisfied with the terms and conditions, environment, business ecosystem which we are creating here. But at the same time, I'm responsible for creation of capital, indigenous capital here out of Poland. So this capital will one day want to be expanding abroad, and I think there will be a reciprocal relationship with the guys like France.
When we last sat on a stage together in Cannes, you said that you thought there was a black media campaign against Poland. Do you still believe that to be the case? And do you not notice that a lot of the quotes that are causing trouble are quotes from ministers? That people are talking about renationalization, they're talking about repolonization. Is the language wrong?
Well, the fact of the matter is that our government is quite new boys in town. For the previous 26 years, there was one establishment. Now for the next 26 years will be another establishment. Okay, so people have to be used to this, and we have to learn. We have to learn. I mean many people from the establishment, from the parliament, from different agencies, from different institutions, from ministries as well, including myself and anybody else, how to communicate with different audiences. There were many political changes over the previous 25 years, but pretty much the same faces, with one or two exceptions. Polish citizens know very well what I mean. But 25 years, actually, the same people. So now our people are quite new. The situation is quite new, like with Brexit, we have a black swan arrived, or a couple of black swans at the same time. Of course, as Churchill was saying, good diplomat has to think twice and say nothing, or something like this, at least. Sometimes we need to have a more partner-like dialogue, which not everybody likes in Europe, because bigger guys in Europe would like us to sit quiet, as Mr. Jacques Chirac said one day ago. We don't want to be quiet. We not only Polish guys and girls, also Hungarians and the Czech Republic and so on. We believe that we are equal members of the European Union, and hence sometimes some tensions. But I think, as I said, for the next 25 years they will get used to us.
So do you think you'll be around for 25 years?
Absolutely. I'm going to be around at least.
Okay. You seem to be everywhere at the moment. You're talking everywhere, in the papers everywhere. You're a very well-respected politician. In Krakow 10 days ago, Mr. Kaczynski gave a speech where he seemed to endorse you as his favorite minister, if you like. The development plan is named after you. How much is that a good thing or a bad thing or a difficult thing for you, that you're becoming more of a politician as well as being a minister? Do you feel pulled in two directions?
No, I think I represent the government, and what's most important is to change some paradigms of the economic development, because as the famous words by Mervyn King in his latest book, Rebalancing, we are now in the era of huge imbalances. And in Poland, we were also going towards the huge imbalances. Like you cannot have current account deficits in the red for 26 years. This was the case in Poland. You cannot have trade deficit for 25 years, or you can, but actually imbalances are just behind the curve. So what the Responsible Development Plan strives for is to find better balances in the economy. And I think this is the most important thing for the European Union as well. If we want to keep the integration of the European Union, if we want to keep the EU together, and our government wants it big time, we cannot exaggerate either way. We cannot have huge current account surpluses and trade surpluses in the north, and huge current account surpluses in current account deficits in the south. We cannot have one-size-fits-all monetary policy and strive towards harmonization of fiscal policy without fiscal transfers. So I think that our government, actually, I would like to make it very clear, is very pro-European in a very wise way, because if you exaggerate too much, you might have different people as presidents and prime ministers in some other countries one day.
But Mr. Kaczynski yesterday actually wants to put he said he wanted to have a new EU treaty that restricted the power of the Commission. I mean, you're not pro-European, you're pro your own version of Europe. I mean, that's what Mr. Kaczynski was saying. This one's clean, I think.
Okay. No, I disagree with you. I think that we are absolutely supporting the European Union, but one of my master theses was on optimal currency area. Optimum currency area can only work, according to Bob Mandel, Ronald McKinnon, and Peter Kennan's famous deeds from the past, only if there is a relative convergence. Relative convergence in the European Union is only between some countries, like maybe Germany and Austria and Denmark, which is, by the way, not member of the Eurozone. So if you exaggerate and try to create unification, harmonization of everything, and integration to very deep levels of social fabric, political fabric, economic fabric of all societies, then there is this reaction or overreaction sometimes in other countries. So our voice is a voice of a common sense, like the UK was.
Well, we did a pretty...
For many years.
I'm not sure Thursday was a sign.
And then probably some statements like, let's pay 250,000 for each refugee or each, this was probably the changing factor for this 4% missing in Brexit referendum. So I think we are trying to find the common sense and the golden middle between exaggerating in either way. One side is complete disintegration. The other extreme is building utopia-like United States of Europe, which nobody believes apart from a couple of Eurocrats.
Sure. I remember when you were appointed, a very senior business person in this country said to me, the question of this government will be, does Mr. Morawiecki listen to Mr. Kaczynski more, or does Mr. Kaczynski listen to Mr. Morawiecki more? Who's winning?
We listen to each other, I think, and it's okay.
Okay, we've run out of time. Minister, thank you very, very much. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much.